Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Amon Green, Gourmet Packers all-time leading rusher, and you're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Packer content. Go Pack, go!
What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Joined alongside Tim in Green Bay. Tim, half on the injured reserve list tonight. He's toughing it out, man. Been battling a bug. That's my guy over there. And Tim, I do want to say this, but I know we talked about it a little bit offline, but that setup in the background, bro, looking clean as a whistle.
It's a work in progress, man. I learned from the best, Takes some time. I'm trying to get it built up,
Yours is way better than mine, man. I'll tell you. And here's what's awesome, guys. You guys don't even know this, but we've actually got Goody on line one waiting anytime we need it. Quick, Tim, hit him with it real quick, Tim.
The phone? Yeah. I just I got to make sure that I let the secretary know that I'll be calling, and they always put me through right away. So anytime we want to call Goody, just let me know.
There it is, ready to roll. Appreciate it. All right, man. The chat is on fire tonight. Good to see everybody in here. If you would hit that like button on your way in, appreciate you making us a part of your evening, man. Let's just get to it here. There's a lot of people in here talking. Jarrell Lee says Byron Murphy, no tag, sign him, and OC. Not going to try that one. So we don't have to reach in the draft. Take best player available or trade back. I would love Siobhan Ravel, Derek Harmon, Mike Green, and Trey Harris. Yeah, man, that's – let me tell you, any of those names there, I'd be okay with at the right spot, Trey Harris, I want to say we're a little lower on him than some folks are. When I say we, I'm just simply talking about our board. Where do we got Trey at? Trey could be a little bit later of a pick here. But, Tim, you were talking about Derek Harmon last night, man. You'd have no qualms with that, I know.
Oh, yeah, for sure. First round, yeah. But I think Jarrell's onto something, like we said last night, right? If someone that we're not really, really after is there, I say we trade back, load up, especially if we're talking really receivers in corner. And, I mean, there's a lot of trench depth in this draft as well. Maybe we could double dip on the O-line or the D-line as well. So a lot of possibilities.
Yeah, now you mentioned a lot of names there that we're pretty high on, though, for sure, Jarrell. We got Siobhan Ravel, or Rebel, however you say his name. We got him in the 17 spot. We got Derek Harmon in the 24 spot. We've got Mike Green in the 16 spot, and Trey Harris is a little bit lower. He's sitting at 51. So if Trey Harris is there in the second round, I'd have no problem with Goody taking him. 23, little rich, you know what I mean? At least according to our board. And, for what that's worth. So there you go. Appreciate it, man. Let's see. Fred McFarley in the house says, we can get these started. Here we go. He says, Clayton, can we please put Christian Kirk under the microscope tonight? Heard today he may get cut, and I don't recall him being discussed here previously as a potential ad for us at wide receiver. And the reason you haven't heard that's because we haven't talked about it. Matter of fact, let me get it up on the screen here. I pulled his PFF grade on the pre-show when I seen your comment. And let's just take a look at what he's done career-wise here. Obviously, former second-round pick, and that is correct, Tim. He was drafted by the Arizona Cardinals. Came out of college with 4.4 speed. He's 5'11", 200. I was thinking he was bigger than that. I was wrong, obviously. I'm going to drop your comment down there, Fred. Appreciate it there, buddy. So his PFF grades, 70, 62, 62, 72, 74, 71, and 67. Listen, that wouldn't be a bad pickup. The only issue is that's hovering right around the same grades as Christian Watson is, which I know he's going to be missing most of the season. Right around that spot where Romeo Doubs has been. Jaden Reed this year, although Jaden Reed last year was significantly higher. Obviously, when I say last year, I mean in 2023. 2023, Dontavion Wicks, I think, was the highest graded receiver we had. People forget that, with this down year he had with the drops. Now, obviously, he's significantly lower this year. So, yeah, I mean, at the right price, you guys know I always talk about this. At the right price, I'm okay with anybody, right? Yep. But if we were to pull up Christian Kirk, Tim, let me get your take on it, and I'll get his contract pulled up. And we'll see what it would cost to get somebody like that.
I mean, he's kind of in that, I don't know, not the sweet spot, but I mean, old enough to know better, young enough to still enjoy it, I guess, right? 28, Experienced guy, good hands. I've always liked Christian Kirk. But again, we're just speculating. We don't know if he's going to be released. He might be released. He might be available. I think if he is, he'd be worth adding to the, middle or bottom of that short list of receivers that you might consider bringing in to help you out. Again, though, I'm after the big body field stretcher.
Right.
So, I'm a little more adverse to Christian Kirk. He's kind of like another, I don't know. I don't want to say another Jaden Reed, but just not someone that I think is going to just, really switch the defense and make that big of a difference. But he does provide some veteran leadership, though, to that young receiver core. So he'd be worth taking a look at. And then I'm assuming the financials, I see you pull that up. I mean, can't be too much to get him in Green Bay, right?
Well, I do remember he almost reset the market when he may have reset the market when he hit free agency there a few years ago. I do remember that specifically. Now, he had a collarbone last year. Let's pretend that he's going to be fully healthy this year. He's going to be 29 years old. All right. First of all, would it make sense for the Jaguars to get rid of him? I think it would because he's $24.1 million against the cap this year. That's before any kind of restructure. His dead cap is only $13.5 million. Okay, so what you could do is they could cut him outright.
You mean to tell me he's not going to get to play for this guy?
Duval.
Matter of fact, after he's seen that, he might be the one starting the rumors about hey, what if he put that tweet out there anonymously, right? Yeah, I'm hearing that Christian Kirk might get cut. Let's hope we can get this train rolling.
I love it.
Yeah, so they would free up roughly a little less than $11 million if my math is correct there. So that would make significant sense, with the new coach coming in and them wanting to bring in their own guys, that whole spiel. Now, in terms of the Packers, would it make sense? Without any kind of restructure or renegotiating of his contract, what would carry over is a $15.5 million base salary, okay? The signing bonus is already on the books. The restructure is already on the books. There's only $235,000 in roster bonus. That's not much. Workout bonus $500,000. So that's another $700,000. So it's actually, if my calculations are correct, without the Jaguars eating any more cap than they already have to with that $13.5 million dead cap penalty, the Packers would be on the hook for like over $16 million.
Yeah, let's talk about Tutu Atwell some more then.
Exactly, right? And again, and the reason we mentioned Tutu Atwell is because and it's funny, that's where my mind went without us even talking about it, Tim. Tutu's significantly smaller than Christian Kirk. Christian Kirk being 5'10", 5'11", wherever, with or without the cleats on. But he's not that dude like Christian Watson that you're truly looking for if you want that type of build of receiver. So I'm with you. I would much rather get Tutu Atwell at $4 million per and then take the other $12 million and put it somewhere else, Yep. So again, I think it's a good idea, Fred. I think it's appreciate you bringing that up. I don't think it's like, oh, no way, that's stupid. Like it's worth diving into. For me, if there's not a complete overhaul of that contract, I wouldn't like to go in that direction first.
I agree with it being a good name to bring up because when you look at the wideouts in the free agent market right now, that's kind of slim pickings. So anybody that you think might be cut, or you're predicting a release, it's worth having on the radar in case they become available.
Mm-hmm. And Daryl said Christian Kirk got injured when he got drilled by Edgerrin Cooper to the ground for the tackle. That's wild. I didn't even remember
that game. Yeah.
No, that's awesome that you remember that. He also said Coop coverage ability was textbook. He knew where the ball was being thrown to, so he quickly made that cut up the field and tackled him. That's right. That was the Tampa 2 call. I remember now.
Yep.
Remember that. We ought to see if I'd known this and had a little more time before the show, we'd have pulled that tape, that clip up. That would have been really cool because not to watch him get hurt, but just to see Coop cover that Tampa.
No, it was just a great play. Yeah.
It was, definitely perfect timing for sure. Fred McFarley, so impressive how Coop plays both downhill against the run and with incredible depth in coverage. It's rare. It really is, man. His ass better not come off the field this year. I don't want to hear anything. I don't want to hear anything about he's not ready. He's not seeing it. Let him make mistakes because I'm telling you, man, he's proven he can make big plays time and time again. Chris in the chat says, good evening, y'all. Really rough, brutal day today. Thankful to get the notification for this sucky show. Hey, man, we're just glad that we can make it even worse for you there, Chris. Appreciate you swinging through, buddy. Hopefully your day gets a little better. Jarrell Lee says, Trey Harris, 6'3", Tim. There's a guy.
There's a guy.
Same school as A.J. Brown and DK Metcalf. He had a good game against Kentucky wide receivers before the injury. If you're talking about Trey Harris, wide receiver, and not who's the actually, let's see here. I get them mixed up. Is it Trey Amos, Tim?
Amos is the DB.
There you go.
Harris is the
wide receiver, yeah. Every year, this never fails to.
Same school, though. I mean, it's easy to mix them up.
Yeah. Yeah, so again, Trey Harris in the 51 spot for us. 2022, he was the 92nd highest rated receiver in college football. 2023, jumped to 16. 2024, he jumped to 6th. And the consensus big board had him at 44 at year's end. PFF big board had him at 86. 33rd team has him in the 48 spot. Dane Brugler had him at 68. Daniel Jeremiah did not have him in the top 50, so that's why he ends up in the 51 spot on our board with a 51.3 grade. So, Jarrell, he's definitely one of those guys that's kind of on the radar for us as well, man, for sure. So,
yep.
All right, good deal. Let's do this, Tim. Let's hop over to Twitter, kind of get a rundown of what came across social media earlier today. Thought this was interesting. ML Football tagged me in this tweet and said, projection, Eagles star defensive end or edge defender, as we call him here, Josh Sweat, is projected to sign a 4-year, $80 million contract. All right. Sweat, 27 years old, has 2.5 sacks in the Super Bowl, 8 sacks in the regular season, and a former Pro Bowler. The Cardinals, Patriots, Packers, Panthers are viewed as fits for Sweat. We kind of talked about it a little bit earlier, Tim, and we didn't know, it depends on the money. It depends on this. When I compare Josh Sweat, and I just simply asked Packer fans is what I did here, man. I just asked a question. If I can get it to go back here, I apologize. I just said Packer fans, yes or no. The large majority said yes, but it seems like everybody's saying yes to every edge defender that they come across him. So when I compared him to LVN, it was kind of surprising with the pressure rate. If I remember, there was something there when we did the breakdown where it was like, I don't know, man. I think he's better than LVN. Or maybe I did a comparison of him with Rashawn Gary. I could have done. No, here it is right here. What I did was one of those anonymous player tweets, Tim. I said player 1 and player 2, and everybody picked player 1, and that player 1 was LVN. Yep. Based off of his,
I remember that
percentage and this and that. Yeah. So, matter of fact, if he got the same amount of snaps as Josh Sweat did, I want to say LVM was like within 1 sack, maybe even have 1 more sack or something like that than Josh Sweat had. So that's where you got to put things into perspective. You look at LVN, the high upside, and he was very limited on his snaps, and that's not an LVN thing. That's a coaching thing. They're the ones who decided, hey, let's do this heavy rotation. They have ever since Matt LaFleur got to Green Bay. So I remember when I did that compare and contrast there with LVN, I was like, I don't know, man. If it was, whatever, $5 million per, a little bit of that. Maybe you get a game or two where he goes off for 2.5 sacks. That would be cool to have, right, in a pinch. But man, $20 million per.
That's big money.
Yeah.
You know what I think seems realistic if the Eagles aren't gonna keep him, or at least make the effort to keep him. I see New England, man. I see the Patriots making that move.
Mm-hmm.
They've got a lot of cap room, I believe, this year. I'm not an expert.
A lot of cap room.
They got a ton of cap room, and I don't know, man. Were they one of the teams? Was New England one of the teams on that? Okay, yeah. I forgot who the other teams were. They were saying,
yeah, Patriots, right there.
Okay, Patriots. Yeah, that to me, I could totally see that happening. That would not shock me at all. I mean, Philly re-signing him wouldn't shock me either. But I don't know, man. I think he's probably going to go to the Patriots.
Yeah, I could see that too. And they've got money to blow. I mean, Many teams have money to blow. We'll talk about the salary cap raising here in a second, which is, man, the NFL is just, they are printing the freaking money, man. That's wild to think that every year we expect the cap to go up every year. It's always going to go up, barring some fluky thing like COVID or whatever. But this year it went even higher than what they had projected. As a matter of fact, I want to say we projected 275. So all the salary cap numbers that I've been providing to you guys and sharing on the show, hey, we'll have this much cap space, we can, whatever. That's based on the assumption that the cap would be somewhere around 275 million. It looks like it could crack. It's going to crack 280, and it could reach 281. So what that means is the numbers we've been basing everything off of, the Packers will actually have an extra $5 to $6 million in cap. But we'll get to that tweet here in a second. Looks like the chat's on board with us here, Tim. Josh Martin says pass on Josh Sweat. J. Cole, no for $80 million. That I like the way he answered that, no for $80 million, right? For the right price, sure, but definitely not. That is the definition of overpaying for good instead of overpaying for great, right?
Yep.
Fred McFarley says Sweat is this year's Larry Brown. Someone will overpay. They will
overpay. Yep.
Guaranteed, man. Guaranteed. Let's see here. Bye-bye. Anything else? Okay, we're all caught up. So let's move it along here on the old X. This is pretty cool. Another tweet we got tagged in from ML Football. This says ML Football is the 10 best tight ends in the NFL based on their 2024 season. And who you have here: number 1, Brock Bowers; number 2, Trey McBride; number 3, George Kittle; number 4, Jonnu Smith; number 5, Travis Kelce; number 6, Sam Laporta; number 7, Tucker Kraft.
Here's the guy.
8, Hunter Henry; 9, Mark Andrews; and 10 is Isaiah Likely. So it's pretty cool. I mean, that right there is what we're talking about, guys. Baltimore having 2 tight ends in the top 10. It's huge. It's absolutely huge. So Tucker Kraft coming in at the wait a minute, the 7 spot here. Real interesting. And I put another tweet out. We'll probably jump ahead to it here in a second. But Tim, I want to get your take first on this top 10 according to ML Football, best tight ends in the NFL this year, man.
I think you could argue that Tuck Norris or Sam Laporta should be in the number 5 spot rather than Kelce. I mean, they're saying based on the 2024 season, right? Did Kelce have that great of a season in 24? Like, is it just like, what are they, it's kind of like hard to quantify that based on their 2024 season. Okay, so what, like just stats? Like, what are we basing it on? Because I feel like Tucker played pretty well, and I know Laporta had a great year in Detroit. So, but I think that's basically the best 10 in the league. I might want to debate the order a little bit,
Yeah, no, absolutely. I could see that. So this is what's interesting. I'm going to skip ahead here now. I just put a tweet out, and I don't even know if you may not have even seen this yet, Tim, but I'm going to put this up here. And I just pointed this out, and then we'll come back. Remind me, we're going to come back to the tight end page so we can not miss out on everything else here. I know we got Emilio getting ready to join us here, so we'll try to talk about the fun stuff before he gets in here. All right. So I put this up. I said, I don't think people understand just how good Tucker Kraft was in 2024. So hang with me here a second, guys. Brock Bowers led all tight ends with 1,194 yards receiving and 5 touchdowns on 153 targets. Now, I want to mention, pause here for a second. Brock Bowers, hands down, our best tight end in the draft. This is what we were talking about when you get into that rare air of under 10-point range on our board. Brock Bowers was sitting at 1.6. 1.6 was his grade. And look at what he did. Boom. You know what I mean? Like just an absolute stud. But if you were to take the targets that Brock Bowers got at 153, I said if Tucker Kraft had gotten the same amount of targets and he averaged 10.1 yards per target, okay, he was on pace for 109 receptions, 1,545 receiving yards. By the way, the NFL record is 1,416, so he could have set the receiving yardage record amongst tight ends, and he would have finished with 15 touchdowns if he had kept that pace and got the same amount of targets. And again, Tucker only got 70 targets this year.
Yeah.
On 70 targets, he made number 7 in the entire NFL on ML Football's tight end ranking. That's wild to think about. So, got to get him the ball more often. Got to figure out a way to do it. And people were, raking LaFleur over the coals. Listen, it's not just LaFleur. It's Jordan not checking it down when he needs to check it down too. There's a little bit of that going on. But I want to get your all's take on that. We got Emilio joining us now. Tim, you go ahead, hit on this, and then I'll get Emilio's opinion here.
Yeah, no, this is great. This kind of just backs up what my thoughts were when we look at that list. I think all those guys belong in the conversation. I just felt like probably Tucker and Laporta had better years than Kelce, but we're just blessed to have this guy, and I think that's why there is some thought that we may even take a tight end we may draft another tight end this year, possibly
Tim.
In the late rounds.
Tim put it into words over here.
I'm just saying, it's because Tucker Kraft is that dude, but it's like if you have a couple more, if you've got some guy that can go in there and block and do the dirty work, like we've seen guys like Ben Sims was willing to contribute. Fitzpatrick played pretty well for us too, but we need like another steady guy at the tight end spot to do some of that blocking that Tucker's so good at, so we can send him out on those routes, turn him into more of a receiving threat as a tight end. By like Clayton said, he needs more targets, and you're not going to get targets if you're just sift blocking all day.
So true, Tim, because like you love that he got better at blocking, right? Last year we were talking in the offseason, dude, this guy cannot block. We have an issue with Tucker needs to and that was one thing he said he wanted to work on, right? He said, I'm gonna get better at blocking in the offseason, and he did. He kept true to his word. So and the way he talks in this offseason, he's gonna turn it up. Everyone's got to step up. You got to play. I think he means it. So I do love that. I think we do need to get him more targets. Got to keep him involved. I think he's going to be a lot of a lot of motion. We get him under center. He runs our QB sneak. I mean, the dude is he's our multi-tool. So I think that's got to be a focus. And that's maybe where we look when we don't have Christian. If we don't have that stretch, you look to your tight ends. And but the only thing you said, like, we might need to find another U-back or another Brooks or something like that. If he doesn't come back, who's going to be our pony package when we have Tucker kind of shifting underneath?
Yep.
No, I think it's a good point. The other thing too is like just trying to unravel everything that happened as the players were leaving. Sometimes you kind of speculate. You don't know, did they have their exit interviews yet? Did they already have them? Are they going to have them? Based off Jair's comments in the locker room of I ain't got nothing nice to say, it kind of felt like, okay, they had already had their exit interviews. So as negative as that is with Jair, and it sucks, go to Tucker Kraft and his exit conversation there with the media. What did he say? It, like Emilio pointed out, like he's going to take it on his shoulders, a more of a leadership role. I guarantee you that's what he and LaFleur talked about in the exit interview. It was like, listen, dude, we're getting you the ball more next year. I want you to be a vocal leader. Let's go. Let's crank this thing.
I'm talking like let's bring him in on motion. Let's run a trap underneath to him. You know what I mean? Like if he comes out and like maybe Tucker Kraft runs the orbit motion or something crazy, sift across. I mean, just get him going downhill with the ball in his hand. Come on now.
I want to say we saw that a couple of times, didn't we? Or like kind of like a zipper motion or something that they had him run.
The thing they like to do is what we call a zipper sift, where they'll have a tight end in the U off the line of scrimmage, like if they're in a 12 set, and they'll do it at 11 too. And then in that case, it's the Y, and they will bring him over on motion. And then as soon as the ball snapped, it's not really zipper, because if it was zipper, he would go back before the snap. What's happening is they motion him over, then the ball snaps and he sifts. So he comes back post snap. We've seen a lot of that for sure, Tim. And in some cases, one play I remember specifically, and I don't think we connected on anything, so it didn't make chalk talk, but I remember one play specifically where they did that. They were running the ball like that, and then they called a pass play, and it was a play action. The way it worked was Tucker over here, motions over, ball snap, fake sift, and then leaked out.
Yeah.
It was nasty. I was going, oh, my God. Because, again, what that motion does is it gets the linebackers to go, crap, everybody jump a gap, right? So everybody jumps a gap. Then the ball snapped, and he sifts back. So now they hop back to that gap.
Yep.
And now all of a sudden it's, okay, attack the run. Crap, it's a play fake. Then they're trying to get back, and now Tucker's leaking out on a shallow cross or a track throw.
And to that point, Clay, those late RPOs where you can carry that. I mean, if you can carry that out to Josh Jacobs, if Tucker's sifting across, zippering across, whatever, that little leak route is just a beautiful play. I mean, you get a little bit of space, get somebody out there blocking for him, and we're off.
Yep,
definitely. So again, I just thought that was awesome, man. With Tucker Kraft, as I was reading that, and I'm going, I know we got limited targets, but how can we quantify just how good he was? And I went, let's take Brock Bowers and let's give Tucker Kraft the same amount of targets. And I said a bad word out loud. I was like, what? And this dude was on pace to do historic things. It's wild, man. Coach Lynn in the chat, how much 12 do you see us running moving forward? We were talking about we need more wide receivers. See, that's the other thing, Coach. don't think for a second it hasn't crossed my mind that what if they just move forward with these receivers and they don't even go draft one? And it's let's press into 12. If you press into 12, what you're saying is you trust Musgrave, right? Which I got to be honest with you. If you want somebody to stretch the field in place of Christian Watson, flex him out there to run a go. He can run that choice where it's a go deep set, right?
And you can get mismatches. You can get yourself hooked up on a safety, an undersized safety or an oversized linebacker, weight-wise, can't keep up with him, something like that. I think that's a great play.
Yeah, because you would have – normally with Christian, you would have 11 personnel, right?
Right.
And with that 11 personnel, you would have a corner out there on him. Well, if you come out in 12 and they go with their base defense, they've got to make a decision, either a safety or a linebacker on Musgrave. If it's a safety, don't get aggressive to Musgrave. You got the matchup you're looking for underneath with the backer, right? If they walk a backer out there, you give him one of these right here. Go to the Chevy. I'll hit you. You know what I mean? Like I think that could be a real thing. But again, Musgrave's got to show up. And my point that I was trying to make here, Coach, I'm not sold on Musgrave. I'm not. I think that's more of a role for him is to play more wide receiver or what we call, that flex U. I think that's kind of where he fits into the offense. But if he's not going to be that dude in 12, who is?
Harold Fannin Jr. out of Bowling Green.
Tim said, number 23, put him on the books.
I will push back on that, Clay. I will say I am sold on his heart. Dude played through like a ruptured spleen or something for 2 games. Yeah. So I mean, I get that. I mean, we do want to see more, but he's been in the offense for a year or two. He knows kind of what Matt wants to run. He's seen he's seen Tucker take that number 1 role, so maybe he doesn't have that number 1 pressure on his shoulders when he got drafted. Before him, and let's give him a little bit lesser role, but hey, let's flex you out to where we like you a little bit more. Still need to work on his block, and I think him and Tucker need to go to, North Dakota, South Dakota for a couple months this offseason and just work on that. But besides that, I mean, we're ready to go. I wouldn't be afraid of leaning into 12 a little bit because then you can still keep your receivers that fresh, and keep them rotating.
Yeah, and if we were to take a look. Let's play along here, right? And Coach Lynn's asking about 12. Let's say that the Packers think, listen, let's go try to find the next Tucker Kraft. Let's find the next one in the 3rd round, 2nd round, maybe even the first of the board falls out. So let's take a look at what that would look like real quick. If I pull up our draft board and let's walk through where we've got these guys. And I don't know if you've been keeping up. I've been really, really happy with these mock drafts that people are doing. Like Kyle Krabs did another one, I think, and multiple people. It's very rare I see a player and go, well, we don't have him nowhere near there. Most of the time it's right there close to where we got him, which is really exciting. So let's say if the Packers are picking at 23 and Ty Warren somehow, some way fell to them, run the card up there. Run the card. Look at the grade on him, right? The grade on Ty Warren, 11.4. It's not quite in that elite range where you would expect like a Brock Bowers possibility, but he's hands down the best tight end. With him being the 5th best prospect on our board, I would be totally okay with that, right? Colston Loveland, not as much value in the 12 spot. If you take him at 23, it's still great value. Don't get me wrong, 1 tier lower than our boy Ty Warren, but that doesn't feel as worth it there to waste your 23rd pick on a tight end that's not the best tight end in the draft. Now, as you climb on down here, the next tight end we've got on our board is, I think it's actually Mason Taylor is next on our board at 46. So what if Mason Taylor is sitting there when you pick in the 2nd round out of LSU, right? That's Jason Taylor's son.
They were talking about him. I want to say it was Move the Sticks. When they were talking to Jim Nagy, they said that, hey, he's a former player's kid and he plays like it. He knows the game. He knows how to play football, knows leverage, all that stuff.
No doubt, man.
I like Arroyo and Mason Taylor and Harold Fannin Jr. all kind of in that kind of cluster. Yep.
Yeah. So we got
going 1st round on those guys, but 2nd or 3rd for sure.
We got Harold Fannin in the 59 spot. And if I pull up our picks here real quick.
And it's got a cheese emblem. I'm just saying we got to keep that in.
That's
And
right.
that's what I want to mention.
Early. That's early. We saw him Senior Bowl. That's when we're talking to him. Way before the draft, way before the combine, all that.
Yep.
The problem is he looks like I don't think he's not a big blocker, right? He's more of a receiving threat.
What are we just talking about, though, right?
Yeah.
Someone who can kind of help fill that void for Christian. You know?
It's true.
It's it's something to think about. And we got Harold Fannin at 59. So for me, I would not want them to spend a second round pick on Fanning. That's just me personally. It's a 58th pick. It's pretty close there, obviously at 59. That's what I'm saying. If you can get maybe a potential generational talent and like a Ty Warren or something, that if some freaky thing happens that he falls all the way to 23, yeah. Right. But after this, if Harold Fanning falls to, whatever, 88 or whatever our pick is, 86, hell yeah, run the card up there. And there's precedent for both, though, Tim. Like, if you're standing on the table going, hey, man, second round pick, if Fannon's there, take him. There's precedent for that with them taking Luke Musgrave in the second, right?
So true.
And then there's also precedent in the third round with Tucker Kraft recently. So it's obviously important to them. And again, Tim, we got Elijah Arroyo out of Miami. He's in the 65 spot. So right there.
In the same category, though, they're still between 55 and 60 on our overall score. So they're still in that same group.
Yeah. So when you would look at that, you go, okay, Harold Fannin has the better grade on our board.
Right.
But let's just double check and make sure. And look at this right here. Arroyo got that Senior Bowl bonus.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yep.
And I was just going to say, look at our final average prior to. So that one I have highlighted up there at the 42.8. Look at Harold Fannin, because of Dane Brugler, one of our head scouts, quote unquote, he said, hey, I'm not really sure on this guy, so we're going to ding him. That brought him literally out of that grouping with who was up there? Who's the other? Mason Taylor brought him out of that grouping and brought him down here to Arroyo. So I do think that's something you just got to keep in mind because Arroyo got better with where his grades were. Those helped him in the final average.
Yeah, and it is worth mentioning that Daniel Jeremiah, has Arroyo at 49 on his board, so he made his top 50. Dane Brugler has him at 39. The 33rd team and Kyle Krabs had him at 88. I just about guarantee you post Senior Bowl, he's probably closer to 50 now. So something to keep an eye on.
If we just re-sign Mercedes Lewis from the free agent market, and just have him block all day long.
There goes Tim.
That's a possibility.
All right, Daryl in the chat.
Only 41. What do you mean? He's got plenty of playing days left.
Daryl in the chat said Kraft's going to get better by next season. He's earned the tight end one spot over Musgrave. Kraft was the workhorse on offense. When given the ball, his yak ability was beastly. Man, his yak ability was almost historic. It was crazy. That dude, it was just like every other game. They'd hit him on a 5-yard drag route, and he was just running forever before he even came across anybody, too. So, Prince in the chat, Taylor is about to write a song. I think he's talking about Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift's about to write a song titled "No Block, No Rock" on my finger. All right, so
and too much Taylor Swift.
Final point on the tight ends. I just looked up real quick on PFF. They have Mason Taylor in 91st on their big board now. So the dude has dropped. We had him put in at 55. The dude almost dropped 40 spots on PFF's big board.
And see, that's why I like to get that in early. I really do, man.
And same with Harold Fannin. Let's see, Harold Fannin. Where do we have him?
Oh, I got you.
He is 80th. Now he's 95th. So didn't drop as much. But Mason Taylor, what did he do wrong to drop him 40 spots on PFF's big board? The problem is they run out of spots and they want to put all these new people in at a higher spot. Everybody just gets pushed down the board.
Where'd you say we had Fanning at?
I'm sorry. Fannin at PFF's big board was 80.
Oh, 80. Okay, got you. I see.
Yep, he's 95 now.
Yeah,
it's crazy. So, I mean, they're dropping. But that I do this so true, Clay. Let's get it in early. Let's get those numbers locked where everybody thought they were. I mean, the reason Warren's up there, dude was literally running Wildcat for Penn State, right? I mean, he was back there running it. So,
he's a weapon, no doubt.
He deserves it, right?
And, again, if you're one of these people that's hearing our voice right now and you're going, but I want the most recent information. There's a reason they're moving around their board. That's true. You've got their boards. Mm-hmm. Our board is going to be contrast to that. When we talk about the grade on our board and on our live draft show, when we do this, just know that's right. Their board's going to be slightly different because they're going off of how people felt about them immediately following the college season before we got into all the off-season hype stuff.
How did you feel about them playing football? Is how I would look at it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I like what Deadfish is saying here. I think Oriande Gadsden would be a good late round tight end to consider. We've talked about him a couple times. That's the Syracuse, right? I think.
Yeah, let's go find him real quick.
Yeah,
we got him in the 102 spot, right? So if for some reason, now keep in mind he was injured in 23, but he ended up being the 9th highest graded tight end in college football in 24. So he's healthy. He's good to go.
Yep.
If he were to fall to 102 and all the other tight ends are off the board, man, that'd be really nice. 4th or 5th round if somehow he's hanging out down there. That would be awesome. And again, the reason he dropped so low on our board is because the consensus big board had him at 151. The PFF big board had him at 126. Keep in mind, he did not make Dane Brugler's top 100. He did not make Kyle Krabs' top 100. And he did not make Daniel Jeremiah's top 50. So there's a chance that Daniel Jeremiah could have him like at 61, and that'll help his number, right? There's a chance that Kyle Krabs could have him at like 102, and it doesn't hurt him that bad. There's a chance that Dane Brugler could have him around 105 or something and not hurt that bad, right? So he's got a chance to move up, but he's also – we may look up at Kyle Krabs or Dane Brugler's final product there, and they have him in the 200s. That could happen too, right? That's going to drop him down significantly. So even though we get what information we can in as early as possible, there's still going to be some late info effects with these guys getting their final boards in, right? That's why we're going to keep that top 100. Yeah, we're going to keep that top 100 for both 33rd team and Dane Brugler in there, and the top 50 for Daniel Jeremiah. Whether it changes or not, those are the numbers that are staying in, and we'll just add everyone else in as they come in. Go ahead, Amelia.
Right. No, I was just saying, I literally was just scrolling through the tight ends. Thomas Fadone, the second from Nebraska on PFF's board, have him 163. We don't even have him on the board. So that's we've gone through PFF's big board how many times now, and you just look, and there's new ones all the time.
Yep.
So I'm putting him in as we speak.
You are the man. Appreciate that. Updating the board in real time here, Tim.
That's how he rolls. You know that.
That's right. That's why he gets paid the big bucks.
Yeah, he gets paid the big bucks.
All right. So what I'm going to do now, let's go back to Twitter.
We got to make sure we got enough cap room for Emilio next year, right? We got to.
Yeah. Well, what I'm thinking we're going to do is tack on a couple voidable years. But we're going to put in contract, in the writing, that if Tom Holman comes knocking, we're not on the hook for that guaranteed money. I do know that. You know
we'd be looking to cut my position for sure.
Oh man,
we'd be cutting your workout bonus, Amelia.
Yeah, exactly. I get the signing bonus. I'm out of there.
I love it. Go back.
Get ready to go.
Go back home and start a restaurant, man. I worked with a guy, man. We knew him as Amigo. I worked with him for like 5 years. Just one of the best dudes on the planet. And he can barely speak English. He was from Torreon, Mexico. I think I'm saying that right.
Nice.
And he never hardly spent a dime. I'm like, what are you doing with your money, amigo? And he's like, I send it back home. And they were saving up to start a restaurant. That's what he told me. And I said, you can't cook. I was giving him a hard time, bro. He brought in some homemade tostados and some soup and stuff one day. I was like, holy cow, this dude gonna make a killing back home.
Cooked it right off the back of the trailer.
Right. Yeah. On a cold day out there pouring concrete. It was awesome.
Yep. Just get back the flatbed up, back the gooseneck up, cook it right off the trailer. Everybody gets one. Yeah.
That was where I went on the job site every day for lunch. Everybody, packed their lunch. They got their ham and cheese sandwich, right? They're good to go. And I'd look over there. Those Mexicans got that grill fired up.
They got a whole grill. They got two pots. They got rice cooking. I mean,
best food you'll ever have.
Oh,
man. So good. So good. All right, let's see here. Let's talk cap real quick. Here we go. So I went with Spotrac or Spot Track, however you say it. I've heard people say it both ways. I'm not going to get hung up on it too much. Great account to follow, though, at SPOTRAC. Okay. This is the guy that obviously runs the website that we always are referencing in terms of cap. I like Spotrac over the cap. That's just me personally, but I think most people prefer over the cap over Spot Track. But anyway, he said Spot Track has been utilizing a projected $275 million estimate for the 2025 NFL salary cap, but recent notes from the league suggest that the finalized figure is likely to come in closer to $280 million. I think I seen Adam Schefter say 281 is potential. What it means, guys, we've been figuring everything on 275. It's probably going to come in at over 280. So the Packers have got $5 million more cap space than they had before. Now, again, some people make it sound like it's a big deal. It's not a big deal to me. $5 million is almost nothing in NFL salary cap. That's why that's why I just try to keep my mouth shut when I hear people, you overpaid him. It should have been closer to 8 than 10. And I'm going, come on, guys. Like, you can make that up like that in restructures and stuff. So, but with that being said, it's great news. It's great news for the Packers. And it's why, once again, we say it over and over and over on the show, don't buy into the salary cap doom and gloomers, okay? That when they start that talk, the Packers need to clean this up, they're in trouble. It's like, trust me, very, very, very date and time sensitive, no doubt about it. You got to get your ducks in a row to get under the cap at the right time. We've seen that happen with Zadarius Smith, and we were forced to kind of cut him as opposed to trying to work something out. Now, he had 1 foot out with everything that was going on behind the scenes as well. But that's what we mean by running out of time with the salary cap. So, again, $5 million isn't a huge number, but I think it's great news for the Packers. It is just another $5 million we can roll into next year for sure. So, Jason, why? I agree for the most part, but I wonder what the Saints will do about their salary cap situation. Jason, here's what's funny about that, man. We have been saying that about the Saints for 6-7 years now. Since Drew Brees was there, we've been saying that about the Saints. Well, Bill's going to come due. Bill's going to come due. And people are acting like, okay, the Bills do, but they get under the cap every year and they still find a way to sign someone. They're extending their guys too. Like, it's not like they've had a bottom of the league roster from a salary cap standpoint because they're in cap hell. That's just not been the case in my opinion. Now, is it a way you want to run the organization? No, because again, the Bill Belichickian way is make sure that you've got your cap hits and your guaranteed money lined up to reflect the most important players on your team. You know, if you're just tossing that money around to any and everybody, that locker room is going to get out of whack real quick. You know what I'm saying, Emilio? Like if you go you're running a landscaping business and you've got, let's say 10 employees and you got 2 that are dragging they're dragging the whole crew every day. They're doing everything, right? And then you got one of the bottom 3 performers in your business come to you and go, hey, I need a pay increase. All right, cool. You give them that. Those guys at the top are going, hold up, man, you see me dragging their ass every single day.
Yep.
Now, all of a sudden, the way Belichick approached it was keep that cap number at the top low, right, with your best players so you could pull that contract. And by the way, that's how Curly Lambeau did business. There's a couple of different history segments we hit on where he would pull the contract to Don Hudson and go, so you're telling me you deserve more than Don Hudson? And those people, simmer down now. You know what I mean? Go ahead, though, Amelia. You know what I'm saying? It's about culture. It really is.
That's exactly it. I mean, because once you leave high school, now in college, kids are getting paid. You know, you're looking over. That dude's got an NIL deal. That dude drives up in a Mercedes. He's showing up in a range. Like you have that. I mean, obviously, it's not as bad once you get to the NFL. You all made it, but you still feel that kind of, hey, he's got a little bit more. But then you look over at Jordan Love, like, hey, he got money, but he's not walking around flaunting it. You know, just sitting there waving stacks of cash in front of Rome's face just to be like, Rome, like that's not what we're looking for. So yeah, you carry that camaraderie, that partnership through it, man. And being able to reference it. Yeah, that's definitely a bargaining chip because you need to be able to say, all right, here's our max, here's our cap. There's always room to wiggle. But I just can't see it going, crazy over that. But I mean, I'm excited.
Tim, you got anything to add to the salary cap news here, man? The extra $5 million in the bank don't hurt, right?
No, it doesn't. Gives a lot of these staffs a little bit more to work with, right? And then more opportunity for players to get money. We always, talk about like what you guys were saying, the flashiness and, being a baller, even the lowest paid guy in the NFL still making a pretty good living playing a game, right? But we also know that your career could be a year or 2 years long. You never know. Guys are lucky to be able to play a decade plus in the National Football League. So, for these young players, you put your body on the line, week after week. You got a short window to try and stack up some cash, as quick as you can. And I think it's a good opportunity. As the league grows, the cap's going to grow. It just is what it is.
Yeah, Jason Wine said it means Josh Myers is coming back. Just kidding, he says. So.
Hold on a second. I think Jacob just called. Yeah, Jacob definitely called.
Don't put that name in my mouth right there.
Greg Rice just cries. So, all right. Let's go to a clip that Tim sent me earlier today. I thought this was really cool. Some of you guys and gals probably know who this is for sure. Chris Carter, Hall of Fame wide receiver, was on our side for a long time with the Vikings, obviously. He was asked on Kay Adams or Up and Adams with Kay Adams about our boy Sterling Sharpe getting into the Hall of Fame. I thought this was a really cool find, Tim. I appreciate you combing through and sending it to me. We tweeted it out. So let's see what Hall of Famer Chris Carter had to say about Sterling Sharpe getting into the Hall of Fame.
About Sterling Sharpe, though, because you told the story on Stephen A. Smith's podcast. Like, I'm just listening to you two is just pure joy about how he faked an injury so you could be elevated to your first Pro Bowl. What was it like to watch Sterling finally get his just dessert?
It was really amazing because of the personal connection. We were in the Atlanta Super Bowl, and I was the alternate, and I told him that. And he immediately called the Green Bay guy on the house phone, called the Green Bay trainer and said, hey, I think he said his hamstring wasn't feeling good. He wasn't going to play in the Pro Bowl. And about 20 minutes later, I got a call from the NFL office from my agent telling me I had been selected to my first Pro Bowl. And to see not only that, because he deserves it, but his brother, Shannon. There's 350 million people that have played football, Kay. I'm talking about Little League, Pop Warner, middle school, high school, college, and pro. 350 million. It's the same number of people in the United States. 350 million. There's 382 of us. He's number 382 in the Hall of Fame.
Think about that, man. 350 million people have played the game of football at some level, right? From Pee Wee to Pop Warner all the way up to the NFL. And less than 400 make the Hall of Fame. That's wild.
And he's got a brother in there that the only siblings. Now, when you grew up where they grew up with humble beginnings and talking about being raised by the grandmother and grandfather, and if football didn't work out, that they were going to be farmers, and now they're in the Hall of Fame, it's just such a unique story. And he was such a beast of a receiver. I mean, he could run. I mean, he did it in Green Bay with no attention on him. And if he doesn't get that neck injury, basically broke his neck, I mean, he's going to go down as one of the legendary receivers that we've ever seen. Like, so, we got robbed of his career, but in the end, he finally got what he deserved. And that's a gold jacket, and that's a place in Canton, because you can't tell the real story of pro football without telling about Sterling Sharpe and his brother Shannon and what they were able to accomplish. So for me, I'm just so proud. I know a lot of other receivers on the list, Steve Smith. I know that they don't like it. Torrey Holt, I know he doesn't like it. Reggie Wayne, he doesn't like it. And I'm not even going to say it's fair, but it all works out in the end, and we can only let so many players in. And Sterling Sharpe should be in the breath. When you talk about the greatest receivers ever, he should be in that conversation. And now he has the recognition that answers all questions. That question is, how good was it? It's he got a gold jacket. Oh, okay. That kind of good. Yes. Well, and we didn't lower the bar to get him. We have a number of players that had. He lives up to the same standard of Gale Sayers, Terrell Davis. He's in the same breath as those players. When he played, he made an impact on the game.
And you still beat his record in 94 after he reset his own record that year.
Well, that too. I mean, I was kind of headed somewhere. He kind of knew that, so I appreciate it.
I mean, you're the reason he was kept out for so long, Chris.
It's your fault, Chris.
Well, I'm not the reason. Listen, they're not giving away them gold jackets.
No.
Okay, so wherever you go, you need to get as many numbers as you can get because yes, somebody
That sounded like Jacob. Wherever you go, you need to get as many numbers as you can get.
Called the scatter shot.
Someone held me out. I didn't blame.
Here's the guy.
On them. Someone held Lynn Swan out. Someone held T.O. out. Someone held everyone out. But trust me, when you do get the knock on the door, man, it's so sweet. And all those other things, they really in the back of your mind are out of your memory.
Really, really cool, man. Again, Tim, thank you for sending that over to. That's awesome. Mm-hmm. Absolutely awesome.
Yeah, that was really cool to hear that from Chris Carter. I had no idea that Sterling Sharpe basically, faked a hammy injury to
get him in the Pro Bowl.
Get him into the Pro Bowl. And, I like he talked about Torrey Holt and, Steve Smith and those guys, Reggie Wayne, right? I mean, they're all going to get in at some point. I mean, as long as it took Sterling to get in, I mean, finally, vindication, he's there. But I think all of those guys that he mentioned will get a gold jacket at some point. It's just, this wasn't your year, and it was finally Sterling's year to get in. So I just think it's awesome to see that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well deserved. But yeah, you get that kind of respect. I mean, the fact that you're willing to give it up just for another guy to get into his first Pro Bowl, that was, a real Pro Bowl game. That was where they played the game. You actually got some points scored, some hits and everything. So, just what a guy. How many people are going to give up their spot? Think about it like that.
Yep.
And if anybody hears Emilio say that when they really played the game, and you go, what they actually hit in the Pro, go to YouTube
and type in
Sean Taylor Pro Bowl, and sit
all
back,
you need to know.
Crack open a daddy soda and put it on loop. You're gonna go, what? He did that at the Pro Bowl? Man, it was. I love hearing Clinton Portis talk about that too. He said, I was sitting at home, and I think he said I wasn't watching the game, or I stepped away from the TV and my phone rang. I picked him like, yeah. And he said, you see your boy? And he's like, what are you talking about? He said, you see what your boy did? He was like, what are you talking about? And then he said it blew up. Everybody was like, that's wrong. You shouldn't have. That's how Sean Taylor played the game of football, man.
Yep. Yeah. Once you put that helmet on, I mean, you're in between the lines. That's game time. You know what I mean?
I remember him picking off Brett Favre, where he was playing post safety, and he rotated down to the strong side. And you could see he wasn't like quite all the way over. I wish we could find the tape on NFL Pro so we wouldn't get dinged. I could show it to you. But Brett seen him. You could tell. I think he might have even changed the route. And you go long, drops back, 3-step, 5-step drop, hum that tater. Next thing you know, you see just a Washington football team jersey streaking across the field. He went from rotating down all the way back to the opposite sideline, picked that, but it was unbelievable. Wow. I remember they said Brett looked at everybody like, how the hell did he get back there? What was he like?
You think God never farted?
I want to say he was 6'2" or 6'4". He was a big safety too, man. Just an absolute stud. Let me see. That's going to drive me crazy. Sean Taylor, height, weight, real quick here. Remind me when we get done here. 6'2", 212 is what he was. If you guys have not seen that too, here's you something to watch tonight as we get ready to wrap up here. Go to YouTube and type in Sean Taylor of Football Life. And if you're not crying by the end of it, I don't want to see you back in the chat. It breaks me up. I have it, Emilio. We listen to a lot of pods out there on the ground. Yeah. I literally ripped the MP3, put it in my audio list, and I've listened to that Football Life probably at least 20 times.
Yeah.
It's just a hell of a story of overcoming and his dad pushing him and man, a guy that was, listen, he was rough. He was a rough dude. Don't get me wrong. But then he finally turned his life around and had a baby, and he was like, all right, life. And then some dumbass breaks into his house and defending his family ends up losing his life. It's just a wild, wild story, man. You guys get a chance. Again, Sean Taylor of Football Life. It's unbelievable. Mm-hmm. So, all right. Anything else you boys want to hit on before we wrap up here?
No, I don't think so. What do you got? You got anything, Emilio? You want to talk about SIF blocking again, or
no? Everything got canceled today, Clay. So the whole town shut down. Got a little snow on the ground.
Oh, I know it, man.
How many inches of snow did you guys get down there? What?
1 to 3 is what they called for.
1 to 3, and it shut down the town.
No. He's not done. That's what they called for. What did you get, Emilio?
I would say probably 3/4 of an inch to maybe an inch. I mean, it was white by the morning. Right now, it's about gone. Like
we call that snow drifts in Green Bay. That's what we call it.
I was mad at Mandy earlier too because I'm watching it snow all day long, and we're waiting for someone to come give us an estimate on to replace the whole heat and air system in the house and put a fireplace in. And I'm going, Mandy, if it stops snowing before we can get out there, I'm gonna be so mad. I just want to get out and ride around it. We got it probably about 2 inches here, something like that.
Yeah, nice.
But I'm telling you, Tim, these people up here, milk and bread, I'm telling you, it's worth it to get out in the snow just to go to the grocery store and just peek your head down that milk and bread. Unbelievable.
Like, what do you eat? What do you eat with just milk and bread? I don't get it.
I do.
Making a lot of French toast or something?
Yeah. Like, you never see peanut butter, no jelly. Tim hammered it on the spot, dude. French toast, the only thing you can make with that.
You got ham, no butter, peanut butter, no jelly.
Damn. All right. That's another one. Go watch Friday tonight, all right?
Yeah,
there you go.
Another one to watch. Jason Wine, show tomorrow morning. Yes, sir. So, no show tomorrow night. Okay, it's Friday. We're going to go out to dinner. We haven't been out to dinner in forever. So
wait, tomorrow's Thursday.
Chris,
yeah, wait. Tomorrow's Thursday, right?
Tomorrow's Thursday, Clay.
Well, we'll go out
rewind. Scratch that.
We're definitely going out to dinner tomorrow night. I know that.
Okay.
You could tell I'm a busy man. I don't even know what day of the week it is, right? It's actually because I have nothing going on right now. I'm just kind of sitting at the house toward the month up. Now, we were planning on Friday night, but it did get changed to tomorrow. So no show tomorrow night, but we will do one in the morning. So 8:30 a.m. Central, we'll get up to a show, and then we'll be back on normal schedule probably for a night show on Friday night. So maybe we can come up with something special for you guys and gals. I will say this: tomorrow is officially the 20th. We've entered that time frame now where you're going to hear rumors of restructures, and probably up till probably the 27th or 28th. From this point up till then, we're in that time frame where the Packers are going to be doing the restructuring of their contracts. Okay, and again, just want to go on the record with what we've said in the past. These are the names that I think will potentially get restructured: Rashawn Gary, Jair Alexander, Jordan Love, Elton Jenkins, Xavier McKinney, Kenny Clark, and Josh Jacobs. I would be very surprised if at least 4 of those players didn't get a restructure, and I would not be surprised if all 7 of them got a restructure, freeing up some cap. Clayton, cap just got increased by $5-6 million. Don't matter. Roll as much over as you can and get those books in line so you can go out there and potentially land 1 or 2 of these free agents. Would be awesome. So that's it. Appreciate everybody. This was fun. Emilio, thanks for jumping in, man. I know you've been busy. Tim, I know you were under the weather, buddy. You toughed it out. It was a Jordan flu game for you tonight, man.
It's all good, man. Oh, you know that, right? That wasn't a flu game, right?
I've heard multiple rumors. I've heard it was the flu. No. I've heard he was hungover, and I've also heard that someone tried to food poison him with a pizza. Which one do you think it was, Tim?
They were up gambling, man. They were, gambling in the hotel late. They ordered some food. Mike ate some pizza. The rest is history. That's what I heard. That's what I believe. I don't know if they intentionally made the pizza bad to make them sick.
That's the rumor I heard. I don't know if it's true.
I don't know, man. It's Utah, right? That's Mormon country. I don't know. I don't know if they were that evil out there. Playing with a man's life out there. I don't know.
I know this, man. I had my first experience with food poisoning about 1.5 years ago. And that would have been one nasty court if I'd been out there playing full court basketball. I'll just leave it at that. Mm-hmm. That was rough. I thought I was dying. There was one point at about 3 a.m. in the bathroom floor. I looked up at the ceiling and I went, I'm good. It's been a good life. This might be it. We've accomplished quite a bit. Wife's taken care of. Parents are proud. We'll just go ahead and cash it in. I didn't think I was going to make it through the night. And I woke up the next day and went, I'll be damned. Here we are.
Another shot at this. Here we go.
Love it.
All right, guys. Really appreciate everybody. Seriously, you guys and gals are awesome. Hit that like on the way out. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Hit the sub for us too, if you don't mind. If you didn't like the show, just pretend like you wasn't even here. Don't tell anybody it sucked, okay? They'll find out soon enough if they come back. So.
Oh, definitely.
Anyway, everybody have a great night. We'll see you in the morning.
And we go. We out.
Bye, guys.